fetus is not a uniquely whole human being. Now, of course,
yes, it is.
It's not.
When does human?
Is
there any biology majors here? Yes. Biology major, raise your hand fastest.
Oh.
When does human life begin? At conception. Why does human life begin at conception?
You have sperm and an egg.
Two parts.
So it's not just the male and it's not.
That's right. Two parts. Two parts unite.
So then they unite and they start exchanging DNA material trying to form the actual child.
Yes. So human life begins, ma'am, you began when your mother's egg and your father's sperm, two parts, united and formed a unique genetic DNA code that's never existed before, will never exist again. That's when human life begins. 95%, 96% actually, of biologists agree with that. University of Chicago study, there were 5,000 biologists who were actually surveyed in this study, 86% of whom said that they were pro-choice or Democrats, and that actually agreed that human life begins at conception. You don't actually have to be pro-life or Republican to agree with that. In fact, actually, did you all watch the Bill Maher clip from this weekend? Yes. Bill Maher, what did Bill Maher say on national television this week? Do you remember what he said?
No.
He said that it's murder, but he's okay with it.
Bill Maher admitted, he said, of course, abortion kills a human. Abortion is murder, but I'm okay with a murder. Bill Maher is an honest pro-abortion intellectual because he admits what science teaches us, that the moment of conception, unique, whole, living human life comes into existence. That is a member of our species. It's not a koala bear. It's not some other alien species. It's a human. It's part of it's a Homo sapien, right? That human is killed in an abortion. Bill Maher, who thinks abortion should be legal whenever, actually admitted that on national TV this weekend.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
So as an attorney, I've litigated numerous frozen embryo cases. And I handled the first frozen embryo case in Michigan. It was a third in the nation. And the IVF doctors who perform abortions testified under oath that from conception, they are living human beings. And male or female, and ascertainably so. Like in IVF clinics, they can check and ascertain whether these are sons or daughters. So we're not even talking about an it. They have a gender. And they absolutely are living human beings. And I've had people suggest, well, no, they're not. And it's like, they're inanimate objects. They're dead. They're not living. I mean, the whole IVF industry is predicated upon the fact that they're dealing in living human beings. Because if not, they're going to get sued and they're not going to make any money. That's just science.
So do you want to go back to your question about you don't think that the human in the womb is a human? Do you want to change that view?
No, my view stays the same, but...
What do you think it is?
It's a fetus.
But do you know what the word fetus means?
Fetus. F-E-T-U-S.
Fetus is Latin for the word young one or small child.
Okay.
You didn't come from a fetus, ma'am. You once were a fetus, like you once were a zygote.
I understand
so
that.
Is that you are a human in the fetal stage. You are a human in the embryonic stage. So a fetus is not a different species. You understand that, right?
I never said as such.
Is it a human inside of a mother?
I understand the point you are making. However, my stance has not changed.
So you're okay. You believe it's a human inside of the mother, but you think that the mother...
It's not a wholly developed human. That's the part.
Well, it's actually whole, right? Because at the moment of conception, does the mother's body tell the child how to develop?
You realize you're not a wholly developed human. Like, we're not wholly developed until, well, it's true. Scientifically, we're not wholly developed until a certain age. Like, as adults, women are wholly developed actually earlier than men are. But, not, at this age, you guys aren't wholly developed yet. Okay. So that doesn't mean that you deserve to be killed just because you're not wholly developed. But a child is whole in the womb, right? Because you understand the mother's body. Do you think the mother's body tells the child how to develop? Do you think that the mother's body is like, okay, kid, today you're growing an arm, bud? No.
the
I
child
think this is a joke.
with
Okay.
encoded in the DNA, the DNA tells the child how to develop itself. That's why when we
Yeah,
say
that's how that works.
the
yes.
child in the womb is whole, there's nothing that needs to be added to the child in order for them to become you. You are you
No,
at the
it's
moment of
just
conception.
completely dependent upon the woman's
Sure.
body.
Now
that
let's
they're
talk
in.
about, okay, so now let's talk about dependency. So we say a child, the human in the embryonic or zygote stage in the womb is unique, whole, living, unrepeatable, will never exist again, never existed before. Is that child in the womb
okay.
dependent? Absolutely. But do you think that a newborn who's like 6 hours old should be able to be killed, a mother should be able to kill it?
No, and that is first of all, that is
Why
an
not?
egregious comparison.
Why not?
Because it is.
Well, because if you were honest,
Whoa, excuse me. If you're going to ask me a question, I'd like the freedom to be able to answer said
I'm just saying if
question.
you're honest, you would agree with Peter saying you're
And
honest.
I'm saying if you were honest to what your intentions were, you would allow us to answer your questions.
Why do you think it's different? Why is a child who's 6 hours old outside the womb, how do you think that child's no longer dependent
It's
on the mother?
different because it's outside of the womb.
So do you think my vaginal canal is magical?
Also, right.
No, because what you're saying is the 6 inches of my vaginal canal takes a non-human or a human that doesn't have rights and turns them into a human with rights. All that's changed within 6 hours is that human, if I've gone through a vaginal birth, has passed through my vaginal canal.
Yeah, I'm glad you
Nothing's
mentioned that
changed.
because I feel as though you answered your question as in what's the difference. That is the difference.
So the difference is location.
Excuse
So can you cite your Chicago study again?
Sure. I can Google it for you. Hold on. I'm sorry. I pulled up the preamble to the Convention of the Rights of the Child in 1989. Explicitly recognizes the right of the unborn child to exist. Chicago, University of Chicago study, biologist. I think I have it on my website. Hold on, let's see if my Google ability here and my key of phrases is going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. You did say something about 90-something%
You know,
of people.
here it is. Biologists Consensus on When Life Begins. It's on the SSRN e-library by S.A. Jacobs. Academic biologists recruited to participate in the study. It's in the Northwestern Pritzker, that's interesting, School of Law, University of Chicago, Department of Comparative Human Development, written July 25th, 2018. Download the paper here.
Yeah, so I did pull up some of those. You said S.A. Jacobs it's by?
Stephen Andrew Jacobs, yes.
Yes, so I did pull up some of those statistics, and they are all from 2018 and 2019.
Life doesn't. The When Human Life Began did not change from 2018 to 2000.
Right. But those are the opinions of biologists as well. So I was kind of curious about what the overarching American opinion is. And according to a 2022 study by Pew Research Center, more than half, about only 56% of people agree with the statement that human life begins at conception.
Well, that doesn't matter if people agree with it. Human rights are not up for a vote or debate. I don't think your human rights depend on the popularity of who you are. Because when we've done that in the past, terrible, tragic things have happened.
Okay.
And the minority, the vulnerable minority, have no voice. So the reason I cited the study of biologists is because we would all broadly accept that biologists kind of know something about when life begins, and they need to academically study that question. The result of a Pew Research study and a poll of the general public on when human life begins, honestly, it bears no weight on whether or not you and other human beings have the right to exist, because human rights, quite frankly, aren't up for popular opinion and debate.
Okay.
It shouldn't be.
I see that you understand that as a human rights issue. However, we don't legislate off of the opinions of biologists or what biologists say. We do legislate off the majority opinion. So if that is your opinion, then I encourage you to do better at really raising that 56% statistic.
Well, I'm here, aren't I? We changed the mind of somebody today on abortion. A couple
Well, a
people
bunch
on
of
abortion.
people.
So I am here. But I don't think, our founding fathers in the Declaration of Independence said that every human has fundamentally the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. We can argue about what the rights of government are, but I think we all should fundamentally agree that government, at the very minimum, must protect the life and the liberty of human beings within its borders.